Good evening. The other day we discussed the non-essential organs of the flower. They are calyx and corolla, and calyx types and corolla types, forms, modifications and aestivation, etc. we have finished. Today we will start the essential organs of the flower. It includes androecium and gynoecium. Now let us see the androecium. So in this androecium, this is the male part of the flower, and it occupies the third whorl. Generally, the morphologists used to tell this is the third whorl of the floral parts and first whorl of the essential organs. It consists of stamens. So the stamens also called microsporophylls. Each stamen has a filament and anther lobes. So you know already each filament having a filament here, and above you can have the anther lobes. These anther lobes may be one, just like in A.V.V.S, or it may be two. So this is given here. Anther lobes may be one, that is called monothecous condition, example A.V.V.S, and two anther lobes are there, that is called dithecous anthers, example datura and majority of the plants. Here the diagram is given here. Here you can find these are just a reniform or bean shaped or kidney shaped you can find here, and whereas here you can find there are two lobes. Dithecous, two lobes you can find. In datura it is given two lobes, and here it is A.V.V.S, one lobe, that is monothecous. Theca means a sac or lobe. Monothecous, this is dithecous. So in the previous diagram this is dithecous, not diadelphous, and each anther lobe has two chambers. So I told you already, each anther lobes has two chambers, each with pollen grains. If you happen to see one anther lobe here, it is having two sacs. Dithecous we have four sacs, so four microsporangia are there. This is microsporangia, this is the transverse section of anther, a dithecous anther, where you can find four microsporangia. Monothecous anther, two microsporangia you can find. So inside you can find the microspores or pollen grains are present. Now you see, the some stamens what happen, there is no pollen grains are there. No pollen grains, that is a sterile stamens. The sterile stamens are called staminodes. You can find in Cassia, generally in Caesalpinaceae family, where you can find these are fertile anthers, whereas some are very small and depressed and irregular anthers, where you can find no these pollen grains. So such stamens are called staminodes. So we have to study the androecium under these headings. So 1, 2, 3, 4 headings we have. So the first one is the cohesion of the stamens, that is the anther lobes itself unite, and adhesion. Here you can find, here filaments are fused, and here you can find the stamens. The next one, the adhesion is the attachment with the other floral parts, whereas in the cohesion the stamens themselves. And the length, being the length, it is classified into different types, and position of the stamen and fixation of the anthers. You have to study the 5 subheadings. The first one we will take the cohesion of the stamens. So that is, the cohesion is nothing but unite themselves, their stamen parts only. This is A.V.V.S, that is called the union of the filaments, that's called adelphi. Union of the filaments, adelphi. If all the filaments are united together to form a single bundle, that is called monadelphous condition. It is two bundles, diadelphous condition. More than two, that is called polyadelphous condition. In the monadelphous condition, you can find in the family, this Malvaceae, you can find filaments united in one bundle, forming a cohesive tube around the gynoecium, and anthers are free. that is confined in cotton and hibiscus. The second one, A.V.V.S, filaments united in two bundles, anthers free. Example pea and groundnut, example Fabaceae family. The third one, A.V.V.S condition, where the filaments united in more than two bundles, anthers free, example citrus. And the next one, the synandrous condition. Synandrous condition where the anther lobes are united and filaments are free. Example in Compositae family and sunflower, tridax, etc. The third one, synandrous. This is a syngenesious condition, that is synandrous condition where the anthers and filaments are united together lengthwise. Example you can find Colocasia and Mammodica and the members of Cucurbitaceae family. Okay, in the first one, in hibiscus, we can see the monadal first condition. All the stamens are united together to form a staminal tube and anthers are separate. The second one you can find in Fabaceae family. The stamens, 9 stamens are in one bundle, one stamen is separate, and that is called A.V.V.S condition. Whereas in A.V.V.S condition, in citrus, etc., you can find 4 or 5 stamens become one bundle like this. Here you can have one bundle where you can find 4 stamens. Here you can have another bundle, another bundle, another bundle like this. You can find more branches, that is called A.V.V.S condition. A.V.V.S condition in citrus. And the syngenesious, I told you already, where the anther lobes, 5 anthers unite together form a ring-like structure where the filaments are free. This condition is called syngenesious condition. You can find in Compositae or Astraceae family. The last one you will see, that is synandrous condition. Synandrous you see clearly where 2 stamens unite together with the anther lobes and also the filaments. 2 unite together, one is separate. This is called, used to tell 2 plus 2 plus 1 arrangement. You can find in Cucurbitaceae family. That is synandrous condition. The next, adhesion of the stamens. Adhesion, I told you already, it is attached with other floral parts. Attached with other floral parts. The first one, epipetalous. If the stamens are attached with the petal, that is called epipetalous condition. Generally in gamopetalae, we can find this condition. Example Solanum, Datura, etc., where the filaments are attached with this petal. The filaments are attached with the petal, the stamens, like this. So this is called epipetalous condition. The second time we have epiphyllous condition. Epiphyllous condition, that is called attached with the tepals. If the sepals and petals not differentiated, they are called tepals. When they attach with the tepal, that is called epiphyllous condition. Adhere to the tepals. Example onion. You have this one. There you can find these are attached with the tepals. The third one, gynandrous condition, you can have stamens adherent at the tip of this. So you look here. Stamens adhere to the carpels throughout the length by their anther lobes. So you can find, if you happen to see the Calotropis, where you can find the stigma is like this. In this here, the stamens are attached here. Stamens are attached here. This is called gynostegium. Gynostegium. But here the number is given gynandrous. That is andrecium attached with the gynoecium. That is called gynandrous condition. In the flower you have, this is gynostegium, where in the corners you can find the stamens are attached. The stamens are in the form of like this. Here you can find retinoculum, corpusculum and pollinia. These bags are called pollinia. Those bags are filled with these pollen grains. So insect used to carry this pollinia from one place to another place. That is called a translator mechanism. This part is called the translator. Along with this translator, the insect used to carry these stamens from one place to another place. That's why the pollination is affected. This you can find in Calotropis plant. Calotropis, translator mechanism. Here you can remember gynostegium. Gynostegium. The next one, based on the length of the stamens, there are 2 types are recognized. The first one is a didynamus. The didynamus means too long. Dynamus means long, too long. Didynamus. Out of 4 stamens, 2 stamens long and 2 stamens short. This you can find in Ocimum labiata family. Here you can find these are epipetalous attached to the petal. There is one. Another thing is the inner petals are smaller and the outer petals are bigger. This is called didynamous condition. The second one is a tetradynamous condition. Tetradynamous condition. There were out of 6 stamens, 2 stamens are short and 4 stamens long. Here you can see 4 stamens, inner 4 stamens are long, outer 2 stamens are short. This type you can find in mustard family, cruciferae family, that is tetradynamous condition. Next, position of the stamens compared with the size of the corolla. So, if you compare the size of corolla and also the filament, these are divided into 2 types. That is called inserted stamens. Though the stamens are shorter than the corolla, so the stamens are looking inside the corolla tube. Whereas in exserted stamens, the longer than the corolla, whereas the filaments are coming out out of this corolla. Example, mimosa families. You can find mimosaceae family. Example, mimosa. So here in the first diagram, this is the corolla. Corolla is up to this level, and this is the stamen. So stamen size is less than the size of the corolla tube. So it's called inserted stamens. Here you see, this is corolla. Here corolla is up to here, whereas the stamen, the filaments are coming out. So this is called exserted stamens. Exserted stamens. And attachment of the filament to the anther. So that is called fixation. It's called fixation of the filament with the anther lobes. The first one, basifixed. The filament is attached to the base of the anther. That is called basifixed. You can find brassica and datura. Adnate. Attachment continued throughout the length of the anther. If the anther is like this, there you can find completely from top to base it is attached. That is called adnate condition. This is a dorsifixed. In the dorsal side, it is fixed per center to the dorsal side. This you can find in citrus plants. And versatile, this is very interesting. The slender tip filament attached slightly at the back of the anther so that the anther moves freely. This you can find in all grasses. So here you can see the first 2 are the basifixed attached at the base. And whereas the second one, adnate, from the top to the bed is it attached. The filament is attached from the top to the base. And the dorsifixed at a dorsal fixed, dorsal side, and the versatile you see in a particular point so that the anther lobes swing in air. This you can find in grasses, this type. The next one will have this androecium. Insertion of stamens may be of 3 types. That is arrangement of the stamens in the flower is of 3 types. One is called haplostemonous condition. So generally stamens in one whorl, they are facing or they are attached opposite to the sepals or opposite to the petal. The second one is diplostemonous condition. Here the stamens in 2 whorls. The outer whorl is opposite to the sepal and the inner whorl opposite to the petal. Example, cassia. You can see the diagram, that is called a diplostemonous condition. So look here, the floral diagram of cassia is given, diplostemonous. The stamens are in 2 whorls. The outer whorl is opposite to the petal and the inner whorl is opposite to the sepal. This is called a diplostemonous condition. The next one, the insertion of the stamens may be of 3 types, as I told you already. Another one is the obdiplostemonous condition. Here the stamens are in 2 whorls. Outer whorl is opposite to the petal and inner whorl is opposite to the sepal. Example, dianthus. If you see the diagram, you can understand. This is called obdiplostemonous condition. It is somewhat this one diagram. And the outer whorl, see, opposite to the petal and inner whorl opposite to the sepal. That's all. This is obdiplostemonous condition. In addition, you have to remember some more things before going to gynoecium. This intrors and extrors, too many things you have to remember. Intrors and extrors. See, if the face, the dehiscence or breaking is towards outside, this is called, extrors. Generally, the point of attachment of this filament is called connective. The opposite side of the connective is called the face. If the face is towards outside, that is called extrors condition. This you can find in A.V.V.S case. The second one is intrors. Intrors means the face of the anther is toward the inside. The face is inside. So this is called intrors condition. You can find in majority gamopetalae like solanum and datura. You can find that makes towards the inside. This is called intrors anthers, and this is our extrors anthers. Remember, two technical terms: intrors, T-R-O-R-S-E, and extrors, T-R-O-R-S-E. Extrors, intrors. Intrors, the face of the anther toward the center of the flower. The extrors, the face is towards outside the flower. Next, gynoecium. Next, we'll see the second essential organ, that is gynoecium. It is the female part of the flower. It occupies the fourth whorl of the floral parts and second whorl of the essential organs. Second whorl of essential organs. It is female part of the flower and it is made up of carpels, also called the megasporophylls. It consists of ovary, style and stigma. This is the diagram where you can find the broad portion, lower broad portion is called the ovary, above which you can find a stalk-like structure, that is called the style. At the end of the style is known as the stigma. So inside the ovary you can find the ovules are arranged. The ovule, arrangement of the ovule, that is, I will tell you later, that is called placentation. Placentation. So after pollination, fertilization, here you can find the ovary becomes the fruit and these ovules become the seeds. So the gynoecium you can study under these two side headings. One is called number of carpels, another is the placentation. Another is placentation. So the first one, number of carpels. So inside the ovary you have number of carpels. Carpels. So if you happen only one carpel, that is called monocarpellary ovary, or many carpels, multicarpellary ovary. So the monocarpel, the carpel is one. Example, bean. In Fabaceae you can have only one carpel, monocarpellary condition. If more than one there, that is called multicarpellary condition. In this we have two more types. One is called apocarpus, another is the syncarpus. When the carpels are freely arranged, they never unite, they are freely arranged. Just like in Annona, etc., the carpels are free. And whereas the carpels are united, that is called syncarpus condition. The syncarpus condition is again divided into four types. When it is two carpels, bicarpellary condition. And example, Ixora, carpels 2, Ixora, and tricarpellary condition, you can have a 3 carpels, example, Cucumis, Cucurbitaceae family. Tetracarpellary, carpels 4, example, Melia, Meliaceae family. And multicarpellary, that is more than 2 carpels, are called multicarpellary. You can find example, Hibiscus, Malvaceae family. So here you have an excellent diagrams. You see the first time there, this is a unilocular ovary where you can find only single locule. You can have unilocular ovary, and here bilocular, 2 rooms, 2 carpels unite together. This is one carpel, this is another carpel. Here trilocular, 3 locules. Locules means rooms. Here you can find only one room. If you take a transverse section, you can have only one room and carpel marginal placentation. Here you can find 2 rooms, bilocular, 3 rooms, trilocular, 4 rooms, tetralocular. More than here you can find nearly 14 rooms are here. It is a multilocular ovary. This is example abutilon. So next you can have the placentation. This is very important. The placentation, the mode of arrangement of the ovules inside the ovary. Inside the ovary is known as placentation. The placentation unilocular and you divide it into bilocular ovaries. The placentation in unilocular ovary and placentation in bilocular ovaries. In a unilocular ovary, one is a marginal placentation where their monocarpellary ovary ovules are formed on the ventral suture in 2 or 3 rows. Example, bean. So previous diagram you see, here you can find the ovules arranged. The ovules become later, they have become seeds. The ovules are attached on this dorsal suture. Here you can find attached all the ovules. This is called, here you can find unilocular and monocarpellary ovary. In multicarpellary, there you can find bicarpellary, tricarpellary, and tetracarpellary and multicarpellary condition. So here the unilocular, there you can find a marginal placentation, basal placentation, parietal placentation and free central placentation. The first one, marginal placentation, the ovules are arranged on the ventral suture, unilocular. The bilocular condition, carpellary syncarpus, ovary placenta directly develop from the lower side. From the lower side of the ovary, that this ovule is attached, that is called basal placentation. Whereas in the parietal placentation, tricarpellary syncarpus ovary, placentation on inner walls of the ovary, carpels fused only along their margins. Example, cucurbita. You can see the diagram. And the free central, what happened? There is a central axis. Around the central axis, the ovules are attached. Ovules are attached. So that if you take a transverse section, you can find there is a central room, the ovule axis is attached at the center. So now you can see, see here you can have very good diagrams. The marginal placentation, ventral suture arranged unilocular, and basal placentation, it is also unilocular. The ovule is attached at the base of the ovary. And the parietal placentation attached at the parietal walls, inner walls of the ovary, you can find 3 tricarpellary, unilocular tricarpellary ovary. Here you see the free central placentation, the ovules are attached on the central axis. The ovules are attached on the central axis. So if you happen to see a transverse section, you can see like this. So that is called free central placentation. Never attached at the top, but is only a central axis, and around the axis you can find the ovules are found. Now let us see the 1-2 mini locular ovaries. 1-2 mini locular ovaries. So the first one here, axial placentation. Here you can find bi or pentacarpellary syncarpus ovary, or sometimes many carpels also you can find. Just to have seen in abutilon, there you can 14 to 20 locules. One placenta, and there is also a central column like the structure, and the ovules are attached. Ovules are in each locule, ovules are attached. So here you can find pentacarpellary ovary, 5 locules, and more than that, the number of locules is equal to the number of carpels. In each locule, the ovules are attached at the center. And the center, the next one is the superficial or lamellar. This you can find in multicarpellary syncarpus ovary and placenta around the inner surfaces of the portions, inner carpels, and the ovules are arranged inner partition walls that you can see now. This you can find in Nymphaceae family. So now you see the first one, you can see the axial placentation. Here 3 locules are given only for a diagrammatic purpose, and more than 3 locules also found, and the ovules are attached on the central axis, and it is partitions are there, locules are there. 3 carpels, you can find 3 locules, and 5 carpels, 5 rooms, there you can find. So here the superficial placentation, the inner walls, you can find the carpel is here. The inner walls of the carpel, you can have the ovules are attached. This is called superficial placentation. See, the superficial placentation you can find in the nymphia. Superficial placentation you can nymphia, and the axial placentation you can find in number of families like Malvaceae, Solanaceae, Euphorbiaceae. There you can find these axial placentations. So the last one around this gynoecium is you have to study the styles. So the style is the part which is found above the gynoecium, and at the tip you can find the stigma. The styles, if it is of three types, occur at the top of the ovary, that is called a terminal style. Majority of the plants you can find the terminal style like this hibiscus, datura, etc. And here example is given, the terminal style. And second one, if the style found in the lateral side of the ovary, found from the lateral side, that is called a lateral style, example mangifera. And the third one is the gynobasic style. Gynobasic style, the style arises from the base of the ovary, that is called gynobasic style, found in Ocimum and Lamiaceae family. You can find this gynobasic style. Here three diagrams are given. The first one where you can find this most common one, the style is at the tip of the ovary, apical, and whereas this is also called a apical style. The second one here you can find, and this is the ovary, the style comes from the lateral side, this is lateral, example mango. The third one you see, these are the carpels, and the style comes from the base of the carpel. From the base of the carpel, this is called gynobasic, you can find in Ocimum, Lucas and Lamiaceae family. Okay, thank you. So tomorrow we'll take the chapter fruits.